At the moment, there are two areas of the car market that are growing miles quicker than any other. That's SUVs and EVs, otherwise known as electric vehicles. Cleverly, or cynically, depending on your point of view, Jaguar have rolled both elements up into one package to bring you this, the all-new I-Pace. And when we say all new, we really mean it. The EV is entirely new territory for Jaguar. The body's made from 94% aluminium, which is more than any previous Jag, in order to help keep weight down. Unfortunately, the weight of the battery pack means that the car still weighs in at more than 2.2 tonnes, and that's not brilliant news for the sporting character that Jag is looking for with the I-Pace. In better news, the battery pack is mounted about as low down in the car as it's possible to get, which is good for the centre of gravity. There are also two electric motors, one to power the front wheels and one to power the rears, with a combined output of 400 horsepower. With no engine or transmission to cram in, Jag's designers had a lot more freedom about the interior layout, and that really shows with the amount of space inside. It's not a massive car, the I-Pace, probably about the same size as an Audi Q5, but there's absolutely bags of room in here, and it's particularly impressive in the back. What's more, you have a very generous 656 litre boot, and there's an additional 27 litres of storage under the bonnet. As well as being properly practical, the I-Pace's cabin also feels properly clever. These two smart-looking screens take care of pretty much all your functions, of which there are a great many. And you also have access to a variety of specially designed apps. You can check the car's range, charge status and location on your smartphone. And if you give it a couple of weeks, the car can learn your preferences on things like temperature, radio station and seating position, and serve it all up to you as soon as you get in. The functionality is all very clever, but in reality, using the screens can be a bit bamboozling because there's just so much going on, and swiping between the various menus and navigating through them isn't always the easiest. The quality is pretty good though, and the materials also feel pretty posh. Get it out on the road and the I-Pace feels, well, pretty unique. Let's start with that power delivery, which is, frankly, hilarious. Aside from all the power, the electric motors also generate an absolute shed load of torque, and it's all available the instant that the motors start spinning. So whether you're pulling away from the mark or picking up speed on the move, pinning the accelerator pedal results in properly eye-widening acceleration. The 0 to 62 dash takes just 4.8 seconds, and if anything, the car feels even quicker than that. Being an electric car, there's also an eerie absence of mechanical noise as you're going like the clappers, even though there is a bit of road noise at motorway speeds. Drive it gently, and the strong regenerative braking effect that puts energy back into the battery means you find yourself driving it on one pedal most of the time. It's actually quite satisfying once you're used to it, but if you can't get used to it, you can switch the regen function off. But does it feel as sporty as Jaguar claims? Well, kinda. Tip the car into a corner and you can instantly feel all that weight slopping over onto the outside wheels. However, once that initial slop is out of the way, then the car actually settles into the corner really quite nicely, and the four-wheel drive means that there is absolutely bags of grip and traction. The steering's pretty good as well. It's nice and weighty and nice and consistent. But while you respect what they've achieved, it's still impossible for a car this heavy to be as agile as Jaguar would have you believe. If you reset your expectations and think about the I-Pace as an electric car rather than as a Jaguar, and it's definitely one of the smartest handling options out there. And the ride? Well, it actually feels quite a bit floatier than you might expect, which initially gives you the impression that it's really comfortable. However, if you find yourself on a more broken or uneven surface, then things soon start to become a bit more bobbly and unsettled. It's also worth bearing in mind that all the cars we've tried so far have been fitted with optional air suspension, so we still have no idea how the car's going to behave on its standard setup. So the I-Pace is a very interesting car.
It's also very capable, but crucially, it also has one of the longest ranges of any electric car at 298 miles, depending on the conditions and your driving behaviour. So if you're considering an electric car, should you consider this one? Prices start at more than £63,000 before you factor in the government grant. And by the time you put some spec into it, it's probably going to cost you a lot more than that. And that kind of price puts it firmly in Tesla Model S territory, and that is another very capable, very desirable electric car. As decisions go, that is going to be a toughie.